I get wings to fly. Oh.
So guys, this is my first interview for my blog site, The Purple Purpose. I'm interviewing Jenny Lee Maas, which we met at Philly Fashion Week this past February it was. I met Jenny working with my uncle James, who works with Burning Guitars. I was her assistant along with my sister-in-law. We were able to see some of her and through there we also started talking about what inspired her for some of her pieces, and we found out that we both have an autoimmune disease, which would you like to share what it is that you have?
So ulcerative colitis, and I've been using diet as a way of healing. So no pharmaceutical drugs. Like I took some for a little while to get me in remission, and then they ended up making me incredibly sick to the point where I'm kind of terrified to take them. So it's just been an adventure of figuring that out, and my work kind of reflects that in different ways. And I am currently working on a project that is just about that, and kind of like the body growing back.
When were you first diagnosed?
I guess about 4 years ago now. Yeah, and I was taking medicine for maybe 3 months, and which gave me pancreatitis. And then the next drug, the lymphoma, was a side effect with like 50 other side effects. So that's when I decided to not take anything for it and just try to look through for alternative ways of healing.
So what were some of your symptoms that you were experiencing that led you to finally, go to the doctors and be diagnosed?
As an artist that did not have health insurance for a long time, I decided to not go to the doctor for a long time. I went maybe 10 years ago the first time I had symptoms, which included me like blacking out. And, it happened, it was really out of nowhere. I had blood work done and they found nothing. I knew something was wrong, but they couldn't, no one led me in that direction, so I just never thought about it. And then maybe, I guess 7 years after that or so, like I got really sick at the beginning of the year, to the point where like internal bleeding starts happening, and that's when it gets really dangerous, because that's when it becomes the risk of becoming cancerous. And it's stress as a trigger, and it's like going through all this and trying not to be stressed is difficult. And I do have, I feel like making work actually, excuse me, Pooch, is kind of a meditation, and that helps me, not think about it so much.
So after the medication, you found that definitely was the route, not a route that you or direction you wanted to go into. You mentioned some different types of healing and alternative medicine, and I'm pretty sure your diet as well.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing like a few examples of what you know?
Yeah. So it's the diet that I mostly follow is the SCD diet. So it's for specific carbohydrate diet, and it's pretty strict. It was hard in the beginning because there's no gluten, no grains, no sugars, no starches. So it's just kind of a different way of like, I had to rethink how I cooked and realized, that it's hard to eat like prepackaged food almost anywhere. Things like that become challenging. So that was a big help. One thing in the diet that I hadn't paid attention to was that inulin it says it's illegal. I didn't know this, and I had been experimenting with different teas to help with, anti-inflammatory purposes. So after a bunch of different teas, I had the idea of chicory root, and chicory is the number one source of naturally occurring inulin. Come here, Pooch. Which feeds your gut flora. It's something that our bodies can't process, but the gut microbes eat it. And so I've read different things online, some people saying that it only feeds your good gut flora, other people saying there's no way we can tell, and I tend to agree with that because it seems like the least understood part of the body, really. But that said, it's made, it went from those things combined, mixed with CBD oil, which is part of marijuana. It's the non-psychoactive part. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps fight cancer. It has so many good properties. That's like that with the tea. Sometimes I drink lavender tea is another anti-inflammatory. So as far as foods go, like avocados are, turmeric is. So I try to just like throw turmeric in whatever I'm cooking. Marijuana is also helpful in terms of dealing with pain and inflammation and stress, and because when the flare-ups happen and when there's internal bleeding, it's obviously like chronic pain.
Right.
And again, I do not want to take any synthetic stuff for that or any opioids either.
Right.
So anything to avoid that stuff.
So you do anything?
I've kind of recently started climbing and realized how much I loved it. I used to climb a lot when I was younger, and I just kind of forgot. I thought it was something only kids did. And recently it's just overall a very good body workout. And then I've also felt like in terms of the healing, like there are times when stress is a bad thing, but you're always going to have sources of stress. So I've been thinking of like, and again, like some of my other work includes public art, and so on those jobs, like when I would do my installs, they'd be incredibly physical, and so I'd have like a few weeks where I'd get in really great shape and then like not be doing that for a while, and that's also not good for your body. So I've been kind of trying to regulate like the exercise that I put myself through so that it's not like wonky. Yeah. And so that I feel like has helped a lot. I did see 2 articles recently from the New York Times. One came out, I should send you the link. It was about inulin maybe being the solution to like autoimmune issues, and I was like, yes, I'm glad someone is finally like looking into this more, because when the SCD diet was written, it was in the 70s. So when you think of the growth of the technology, and again, the gut is still like, we still don't know so much about the microbes that to say one thing or the other is like kind of, we don't really know.
Right.
So I'm glad to see that that's getting looked into. And there was another one about how exercise can actually reshape your gut as well. And so the whole thing with the SCD diet is by cutting out sugars and complex carbs that break down into sugars, you're basically cutting out everything that feeds disease. And then there's like part of the intro includes making your own yogurt. So I don't do it as much now, but the first 2 years I was on the diet, like I almost always had yogurt that I'd make that you have to cook for at least 24 hours to get the right strand of bacteria, and also so the bacteria eats all the lactose. So, because there's can't have milk either. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But yeah, so the diet gave me hope because in a way, like, you know, gluten-free diets are not always the best because a lot of gluten-free products have xanthan gum and guar gum, and that's something I learned going through all this, is that they work similarly as gluten. So if you're eating a lot of gluten-free like pastas or rolls, whatever, like after a month of eating food like that, I was getting uncontrollably sick again, and realized that like those gums have similar functions. So just cutting those out totally has made a huge difference too. So yeah. But yeah, the diet gives me hope because some people have actually cured themselves through it by cutting out all those things. You're starving the disease, and then by making your own yogurt and making your own probiotics, it's like you're reflourishing the gut. So it's like farming your body. Yeah, and it takes time. Like it takes years. So I'm like in my 3rd year, and I'll already say, like, if I have a flare up now, it's not nearly as painful or long lasting as it used to be. So it's definitely working. Of course, there are times where I wish it was working faster, but
At least you see something.
Yeah, there's definitely progress, and it's better than, you know, messing with possibly cancerous medications, because the first medication I took, they said there was a 1% chance of getting pancreatitis, and yeah, I mean, within 3-4 months I had it, so it was
Right.
I'm a little cautious, to say the least.
So with all of that, I remember at the fashion show, there was a piece that you had that you said with your climbing and hiking and how you used to do that as a kid, that this whole new diet, trying to bring back your childhood, inspired your work as well. So do you want to touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the colors, you know, like the purple that was pretty prominent in the last show is like similar to the color of chicory flowers. And chicory is also super cool because it grows everywhere and it heals so many things.
Right.
And I feel like it's nature just trying to tell us like
something.
Yeah, and of course, like, again, the irony of modern day us is that chicory is regarded as a weed and things like Roundup are used to kill it, and Roundup is something that there's a lot of conspiracy around that being having negative effects on gut health. And, you know, with companies like Monsanto and all that, it's really hard to get a real answer. So, but yeah, so kind of the irony is the solution, this flower, is something that, like, people they disregard it as weed, and it's
exactly. It's really something that's curable.
Yeah. So, you know, as the last show, I feel like, just, you know, with as far as the other themes in it, there's a lot of like leaves in the dresses and leaf shapes, so that's where the nature came in, and like texture and pattern. Like, you know, I realized like half the pictures on my phone are like close-ups of like moss on a rock or like things peeling, you know, so I like bringing that aspect into the dresses. Yeah,
your work is definitely very beautiful, and it definitely was a pleasure working with you. It was a great opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, having something in common,
Yeah.
especially with the purple. I love the purple. I told you that was my favorite color.
Yeah.
And my whole theme of...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time and, you know, letting us come in.
Yeah, of course.
To see
I get wings to fly. Oh.